Sir.
Yes, Rejoice, please go ahead.
Sir, my network was on and off when you were explaining the other two before the activity-based costing. So if you could please go over them for me.
Okay. So the activity-based costing works on the principle that the project consumes activities and activities consume resources. In other words, the entire project to be executed consists of individual activities. And every activity is a cost center. Okay. So to do the project budget using activity-based costing, you have to just divide the entire project or put the project activities, specific activities to be executed, and then you account for how much each of these activities will cost you. So when you do this, you are using the activity-based costing as a method or approach to determine or to build up your project budget. That is simply what it means. Is it okay? Did you hear me now?
Yes, I did, but I'm very sorry. I meant the other two before this one.
Okay, so the other two, we have the top-down budgeting. The top-down budgeting approach simply means that the top-level management of the organization, they make a projections, or they make the projections that we intend to spend this on this project, and this will be the activities, this and this and this are what we're going to do. Okay. Then they pass that projection or that information down to the functional heads or functional managers, and they also make input into that. Okay, good. This activity, we can do this. We'll spend this. They further define what, or they build on what the top level management have done. Then they also pass it down till it gets to the basic level where the actual work will be done, and individuals who will do the work, they also make an input. Okay, so this block laying, we are molding this number of blocks. This is how much it will cost us, and so on. So they also further add that information to what has come from the top until the final project budget is developed. That is called top-down budgeting approach. Then we have the bottom-up approach, is the opposite. But here, we know that at the bottom, we have the work breakdown structure, or we have the work packages, various work packages occurring. And we know from last week's lecture that work packages are individual cost centers, okay, telling us the specific work to be performed. So they start based on the work that will be performed. They make all the input and cost all the activities at the basic level. From there, they pass it up to the middle managers. They further also build it up, adding all at the other needed information. They also project it further up, and then the top level management also make it until the entire project budget is developed. So these are the two approaches. And then, as I said, the activity-based costing is purely based on defining the project in terms of its individual activities and putting together, costing each of the activity and putting them together. Is it okay now? Did you hear me now?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. The final slide I want us to discuss for this, for budget estimation and project cost estimation and budgeting, relates to what we call contingency or budget contingency. Now, budget contingency recognizes the fact that project, they are just mere estimate. And remember the type of cost estimation. They are mere estimate because you might have employed various methods. For instance, if you use ballpark estimates to determine to build a budget or to do the cost estimation, you did probably comparative estimates. You might not have done it well and other. So here, contingency budget just realized the fact that the cost estimates are mere estimates. Anything at all can happen. So unforeseen events conspire to render initial project budget inaccurate. So there are times unforeseen events would make the project budget inaccurate. In other words, it will make it important. You will still need more money to beef up, making the budget you have made irrelevant. Okay. So you need what we call budget contingency. And budget contingency is the extra allocation or the allocation of extra funds to cover these uncertainties that improve the chance that the project can be completed within the time frame originally specified. So here, this is a planned budget. However, the planned budget is intended to tackle unforeseen events that have the tendency to affect the completion of the project within the specified project duration. Okay, so contingency budget. Okay, it's a plan, it's a budget that you plan. So the example that I gave you from the beginning, that assuming you want to travel to Kumasi, knowing that you have budgeted at 150 Ghana cedis, should be able to take you in and out, all things being equal. But you are really not okay because you think that anything at all can happen. If you go with that budget and then something happens, the car gets a problem, and usually they will make, when that happens, they will make arrangement for another car to come, but that will take about 5-6 hours later before but you want to come and arrive on time. So you always have to get additional money on you, so that just in case the unexpected happens, you can still make your journey within time. The additional or the extra budget you put together defines what we call the contingency budget. Defines what we call the contingency. So somebody at the beginning of the lecture asked a question. I told the person to defer the question. Is your question answered now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Now, why do we need contingency budget? Why do we need budget contingency? Why do we need budget contingency? We need budget contingency because the project scope is subject to change. Like I told you, we were building 2-bedroom house without a fence wall. Now we change our mind, or we change the project scope and say we are building 3-bedroom house with a fence wall, for example. So how do we cater for the extra additions or the extra cost as a result of the change in the scope of the project? We relied on the budget contingency. Okay. Now, the other point is that budget contingency is relevant because of a law they call Morpheus Law. And they say that Morpheus Law always exists. Morpheus Law always exists. And therefore, budget contingency is necessary. What is this Morpheus Law? Morpheus Law simply says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So because of this law, we need to get budget contingencies to cater for whatever will go wrong there. Okay. The fourth point, or the fourth reason why we need budget contingency, relates to the fact that cost estimation must anticipate interaction cost. Okay. There is what we call interaction cost in executing project. An interaction cost is a cost that you incur that may come up because you are engaging some things. For example, let me give you this example. According to our plan or our budget, we have budgeted for an excavator to probably clear our development. They got the excavator to the site to work. The excavator has worked, but in the process, probably has developed a mechanical fault, which our budget originally did not capture that. So this is what we call an interaction cost. This is an additional cost that we are faced because the excavator is working, has come to work, even though we planned for it. However, there's additional cost that we did not really plan for it, and that cost is what we call interaction cost. Okay, and these interaction costs always exist with us. Okay, and sometimes cost estimation must anticipate that. Okay, anticipate that, and hence the need for contingency budget to accommodate some of these costs. Then we have the final one we call normal conditions are rarely encountered. In other words, we need contingency budget because ideal conditions do not exist. Ideal conditions do not exist. The budget is prepared on the assumption that ideally, all things being equal, this is what will happen. But you and I know that ideal conditions don't exist. Ideal conditions don't exist. And hence, we always need a budget contingencies to cater for the unexpected. Okay. I believe that if ideal conditions exist, probably you wouldn't be doing your first degree at UPSA. True or false?
Say true.
If ideal conditions exist, where do you think you would prefer to do your first degree?
So Boston University.
I'm in Goma University of Science and Technology.
Okay. Somebody is saying Boston University.
Anyone? Oxford University.
Anyone? UPSA.
Harvard.
That is ideal condition. Ideally, I should be in Harvard now, doing probably UPSA.
Ideally, I'm supposed to be in your university.
So, because ideal conditions don't exist, we need, in terms of project execution, we always need contingency budget or budget contingency to cater for these unexpected issues. Okay. Any question?
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, between contingency budget and the other one, I forgot. Where does and expedites cost and then contingency cost or budget?
So what's your understanding? Let me help you well. What's your understanding of expedited cost?
A cost that helps speed up a project. So am I right?
A cost that helps speed up.
Yes, that speeds up a project. Probably would take you have a project in mind. It would take say 2 weeks, and then when the project delays, it will bring a whole lot of things to you. So an initial cost that will help fasten the project completion time, so that you stay in your probably initial schedule for the project.
And it's usually unplanned cost.
Yes. No, I'm saying that between expedited cost and a contingency cost.
I'm helping you out in your definition of what an expedited cost is. You need to understand the expedited cost very well before you are able to really link it to the issue to know whether it is a contingency. So you gave me a definition of expedited cost. Okay, that a cost, you gave me a very straightforward definition that a cost that we incur to speed up the way, the project should go than normal or something. Okay, which is fine. And I'm adding that, or I just want to add that these are usually unplanned. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that is it.
Yes, please.
Yes. So in that case, and I remember explaining expedited cost that sometimes it's possible that expedited cost could be a contingency budget. Here, the contingency here is that it is planned. The budget is planned. There is a conscious effort to put this budget, these extra allocations aside with the intention to cater for unexpected issues. So it's a planned budget, but it is intended to meet unexpected, unplanned events.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So it could be a contingency budget. That is if that budget is really planned for. Okay. Yes, Philomena.
Hello, sir. Is it illicit? Sir, how can we prevent Morpheus?
I can't hear you. Can you speak louder?
Hello.
Hello. Can you speak louder?
I said, how are we going to prevent
I can hear you.
Sir, please, he's asking that how can we prevent
So how come you are able to hear her? Because you are all together, right?
Sir, I'm together with him. We are having
so let him talk well. Sorry, louder.
Yes, sir.
Aha.
How can we prevent Morpheus Law?
How can we prevent Morpheus Law? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Richard?
Yes, sir.
Your question is, how can we prevent Morpheus Law?
Yes. It's always important to...
We have to go and find out from Morpheus.
So, we can't do anything about it? Because is there, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But we can prevent it, the thing to be going wrong, right? We can do something. There's nothing we can do about it.
Okay, Richard. So here it's just it's just a law, okay, and the law says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and we are saying that relating this to the budget, we need contingency budget because the Morpheus Law is present, and sometimes what can go wrong? And even I think, do you know that sometimes what you think will happen to you usually happens to you?
Yes.
Sure, sir.
Do you know that sometimes if you think
Yes,
that,
sir.
oh, these exams I will fail. Hey, this time, these exams I will fail. I will fail. You say it and then you will fail, definitely fail. The results will come and you have failed. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
I think Murphy, based on these experiences, came out with this law, thinking that what you think would happen would definitely happen. Okay. Now, one of the ways to mitigate the effect of that law is to develop contingency budget. Okay. In other words, always have a plan B. So if you think that you will fail, for Morpheus Law to be established, then what do you need to do? You have to change your way of doing things that makes you think that you will fail in this particular subject. And that is a way to prevent the Morpheus Law. I don't know if you get the point explanation I'm giving here.
Yes, please. I'm getting it, sir.
Yes. So that is one way to get to prevent it. So you think, those of you who are Christians, this is where the Bible talks about what we call positive confession. Okay, positive confession.
Yes, sir.
So for me personally, whatever I want it to happen to me, I say it, I speak it. And once I speak it out, I speak it, it happens exactly as I have said. Okay, almost everything that has happened to me, there are things I speak it out. And I mean, with my faith backing behind that, it works. So in that case, it's the Morpheus Law that is present. So whatever you think would happen would definitely happen. Okay, that is Morpheus Law represented in any. So Morpheus, I don't know the history behind this law or why Morphy brought this law, but I am sure that he just analyzed it. He analyzed sequence of events where people think that these things would happen and it happened. This would happen and it happened. This thing will happen and it happened. For example, do you know that the 9/11 attack, by then some of you might, I mean, I don't know if you realize, maybe you, do you know 9/11 attack on US?
No, sir.
You don't know the September, okay, you
Yes,
are
sir. Yes, sir.
September 11th, where US was attacked, terrorist attack, and the World Trade Center was
Osama bin Laden
crashed into it. Do you know that the US Defense Forces at a point in time had predicted, or they had thought that could happen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, they had thought before. They had thought that, well, this thing can happen, a terrorist attack. Building this building that tall, terrorists can hijack a plane and the plane will run into it. So I'm very sure Morphy studied situations that people have predicted or have said this would happen and it happened, or people think that this thing would happen, and he studied those things and said, oh, in fact, it is true. And therefore he came out with this law that anything that can go wrong definitely will go wrong. Anything that can go wrong will definitely go wrong. In other words, whatever will happen will definitely happen. And therefore, you should be aware of this. And therefore, you make contingency or you plan accordingly. Okay. So that is really the little that I can say. Okay. So you can mitigate it by knowing that. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions so far? So we are done with the with project budget or project contingency, the entire lesson for this particular one. But let's strike a deal here. I have another lesson I want to start. If I start, definitely I won't be able to finish. But if I postpone it to next week, either Thursday for the morning or the weekends for the evening, in each of these classes, when I start next week, I have to finish at all costs, whether the time is up or not. I have to finish. So two things: either we go today, and then we start everything afresh next week and finish it, or we start today and then finish it up next week. The implication is that in that sense, next week we are likely to close a bit early if we do close today now. So let me know your thoughts. Yes, raise up your hand and tell me what you think we should do. Yes, Philomena.
Sir. Sorry, but I think we have done a lot of.
Yes, Philomena and Richard, what are you saying?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I think like we have done enough for today. Like we.
No, as for enough, I determine the enough.
No,
You don't determine the enough. Okay. You cannot tell me that you have done enough for today. If we have done enough for today, I wouldn't tell you that we should do another one.
Like I covered the law, sir.
So simply tell me, simple. This one is so straightforward. Yes.
Okay, sir. I think next week is okay because on Fridays we don't have class, so we do it Friday and Saturday.
Are you saying that we should have the class on Saturday, on Friday?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday. If you couldn't finish.
No, that cannot be. So speak to the issue here. I explained the issue. We continue the class today and finish next week, meaning that next week we'll finish a bit early in each of my classes, or we postpone today's class and start everything next week. But that one, the lecture time doesn't matter. We have to finish at all costs. So which one do you prefer?
Let's postpone to next week.
Next week is better, sir. Because by all means, even though we start today, next week we are online again. So for me, let us start next week so that it will
next week. That's fine.
Let's start on next week.
So let's start next week, but if we can break the time at 7:30. We should start early.
No, the time and everything remains the same. We are not varying anything. So that's why I gave you the two conditions.
Never.
Okay. So I think nobody has objected to or has opposed we start next week. So it means that you all prefer we do next week. Today you want to go away. Is that not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then on this note, I end today's class.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Have the very best of the weekend. See you again next week. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
The weekend students too. The evening students. Evening students, you can join. You can also join the morning class on Thursday, 2:30 if you want. Once you attend that class, you can decide not to join on Saturday. It's up to you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So, is it the same link?
Because of that,
I think you have to help us with the link.
Because of that, I will share the link also in the evening group. Okay. But you are
Okay,
not
sir.
obliged. You are not obliged to join.
Okay,
Please, what if we have a joint class on Thursday?
No.
Then
You have the two classes will happen, so you can join any and then go your way.
Okay.
Or you can join on Thursday and come and repeat it on Saturday as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. So see you again next week. Bye.
All right.
Bye.